This video contains commentary. What's crackin', my little deuterinos? Welcome back to Storytime with your favorite Reddit fairy. My name is Lorna, and today, my allergies are kicking my ass, my dudes. But we're gonna get into some r/ChoosingBeggars, as well as some r/IDontWorkHereLady, and we're gonna top it off with some r/IDWHL. So without further ado, smash that subscribe button, sit back, relax, and let's get right into it. This happened yesterday, posted by user Hamtron. I posted an ad for some leftover lumber I have in my garage. I have about 50 studs left over, $2 each. Lady arranged to pick up yesterday at 3 p.m. Hey, I'm an hour away. I'll be there at 3. Sounds good. See you then. 3 p.m. rolls around. No handshake, 'cause, you know, the world is ending or whatever. So, what made you give these away for free? I grab my phone and look at the ad I posted and show her. Oh, it's not free. They're $2 each. I'm not just dumping hundreds of dollars worth of lumber. Oh, but I drove an hour away. Can I have some? You can have all of them for $2 each. She stood there for what seemed like 20 minutes. I think it was about 30 seconds. I just said, sorry, no, and closed my garage. Oh my god, why? Why would she think that it was free? Okay, let's see what some of the comments say, because this is, I don't understand why she would drive that far if she thought that she didn't. Okay, let's look at. Okay, Kai Snides, I think is his name. Her name, his name, I don't know. I don't think she thought it was free or that she was dumb. I'm sure she thought if she caught you in person with product in hand, she could come for free like she always intended. Get some for free. Okay. Maybe, yeah. She probably just planned this the whole time. That's the only thing I can think of, is that she was just trying to act stupid. There's no fucking way she actually thought it was going to be free. She just was so stupid and thought this would actually work. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Before I get into the next story, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on all notifications for future videos just like this one. And the next story is called It's Your Fault, So Pay My Rent, posted by user A_desklamp. First, let me set the scene for you. My college and several others have been shut down for the rest of the semester to encourage social distancing. Because of this, everyone that lived on campus is most likely getting refunded for the weeks that won't be living there. My school has a Facebook page dedicated to the class of 2022 and several others, but that's the page I'm on, and questions have been flying right and left since everyone is frantic and it's a bit of a chaotic situation. Enter the choosing beggar. This absolute ketchup stain of a person made a post demanding she be refunded for her living situation. The problem with this is she doesn't live on campus, and the school doesn't own her apartment. She insists that the school not only pay her rent for the coming months, but also give her money from the time she's already lived there while class was still done in person. According to her, she hasn't even tried to contact her landlord, which probably wouldn't do much. Student or not, a lease is a contract, and it was her choice to live off campus. She's been going back and forth with the page admins demanding they fix her problem and that she deserves her rent paid, since she doesn't need the apartment for the rest of the semester. It's not that interesting, but it's definitely something to see people act like that. Oh god, why? Like, why do people think that, like, when things don't even affect them, that they're entitled to the funds that would go towards somebody that does need that assistance? Like, you fuck off, Karen. You're a bitch. You should go lick a door handle somewhere, I think. Yo, speaking of which, I seen some kind of, like, news article. It's like the new Tide Pod challenge. Basically, people are going around licking toilet seats and doorknobs and shits. The beer virus challenge. YouTube will shut my ass up so fast if I say that word. So, yeah, let's not even say it. Let's move on to the next story, my dudes. This one is called Choosing Beggar Tries to Sell Me Back Item, Posted by users Sarcasm and Sincerity. My first post here, but honestly, I must have read at least 1,000 entries before here and on the Brazilian Facebook group with the same basic idea. Unfortunately, I can't post pictures of the conversation for you guys as it's all in Portuguese. On to the story. I'm a young adult living on her own and try to cut corners where I can. And my first microwave I bought used for a third of the price of a new one and lasted my 3 years. Because I had such good luck, I bought my second microwave used as well. It was a super old one. Very big, but worked fine. Within a few days, it stopped working. So I called the secondhand shop I bought it from and they came and fixed it free of charge. Turned out that they just had to change the buttons panel. The microwave continued to work fine for months. I moved apartments and almost never used the microwave, and then it started acting up again. It wasn't, to me, who never uses it, worth the trouble to get it fixed or the space it took up in my tiny new kitchen. So I announced on Facebook that I was donating a microwave and carefully explained about the iffy panel. I know. Everyone here always says to sell for cheap as hell, but not to donate because people are crazy. Unfortunately, I didn't listen. A woman wanted it and came to pick it up immediately. When she came to my house, she looked around a lot and once she left, texted me saying she was pregnant. That much I could tell myself, she was far along, and unemployed, and if I had anything else to donate. I told her I didn't at the moment, but would let her know, and then I deleted her number. This was in December. Last week, she texted me asking if, get this, I wanted to buy a microwave. A microwave that works fine, but the panel is broken. She didn't say it was my microwave, so I honestly don't know if she even remembers me. If she sent a mass text or what. Honestly, I've never been more speechless, because this woman knows where I live. I was very polite and said I didn't need a microwave at the moment, but thank you. She's like, oh, but I really need the money. Not my problem. Do you know anyone who wants it? And I'm like, no, I'm sorry, but try Facebook maybe? Jesus Christ, guys, people are so annoying. Like, why would you try to sell that back to that person? Like, you would think that maybe she would have the number saved in her phone, like she obviously does, but you would think that she would name it something like lady I bought the microwave from, like to remember. Like, who the fuck cares what the person's name is? You're not talking to them on a daily basis. You know what I'm saying? Like, you would have some kind of identifier in your contacts list, I would assume, but maybe I don't know. She probably wasn't smart enough to do that, I guess. Just fucking stupid. Oh my god. Okay, so that is all we have for r/ChoosingBeggars. So we're gonna get into some r/IDontWorkHereLady. And this motherfucker is called The Day I Was Hired and Fired from a Law Firm. Posted by user ARS-Torok. Not sure if this one belongs here, but I hope you enjoy it anyway. So this is about 5 years ago. I worked as a chef at a bakery. It was my job to make everything but the baked goods. Every morning, the baker and I would walk in at about 4 a.m. and knock out all the food needed for the day. This would leave me ready to go home at around 10 a.m. or so. This put us at the perfect time to deliver online orders. It was common for companies and other entities to place large catering orders with us. The baker and I would split them down the middle and deliver them on our way home. The delivery in question was for Bob, Dick, and Harry, attorneys at law. I have never delivered to Bob, Dick, and Harry's before, but they were regular of sorts. Every financial quarter, they would hold a huge meeting. This meeting would require roughly $700 of bagels and bagel accessories. This spread included 8 dozen bagels, all 10 of our flavors of cream cheese, pastries, brownies, and enough coffee to power a college dorm through finals week. My passenger seat, entire back seat, and entire trunk are filled with food. Now, Bob, Dick, and Harry's is located on the 9th floor of a commercial skyscraper deep in an industrial complex downtown. Parking was non-existent. There were meters outside the building, but I knew I would need to get close to 10 trips to deliver all this food, and didn't have a lot of change on me. Company policy was to just pay whatever fines I needed to park and then turn in my receipts. The money would end up on my next paycheck. So the building has its own parking garage, so I pull on in. The security guard, let's call him Sam, stops me and says that the parking garage is for employees only. I happily show him my delivery invoice and offer him a bribery bagel. Never leave the store without at least 2. Sam refuses the bagel and says I can park in one of the guest spots on the bottom floor. The fee is $5 for every 30 minutes, minimum $10. I thank him and head to the bottom floor of the garage. So there are a total of 6 guest parking spaces. Just 6. All of them are taken. I head back up to talk to Sam when I see an open parking spot reserved for Bob, Dick, and Harry, attorneys at law. There are cars in every spot, with many spots being reserved for employees by name. The last spot is empty and is reserved for guests of Bob, Dick, and Harry. Perfect. I pull on in. I grab the most important part of the delivery, the coffee, and head to the stairwell. I get into the elevator and hit the button for floor 9. The elevator asks for my employee ID card. Well, crud. So I try the lobby. That works. From there, it's 9 flights of stairs until I'm almost outside the law firm of Bob, Dick, and Harry. After introducing myself, I am shown to the room where the meeting will take place. A table is set aside for me. I set down the coffee and head for trip number 2. That is when I see Sam talking to the receptionist. He runs over and starts shouting at me. I'm putting the boot on your fucking car. I told you to park in the guest on the bottom floor. I don't get a word in before he launches into a speech about security and how I could be hurting his building or people. This is when a very well-dressed man walks over. It so happens to be Bob, the Bob of Bob, Dick, and Harry's. Bob asks what is the problem, and soon the two are arguing. Bob: OP is delivering food for my meeting. He is allowed to use my parking spots. Sam: those parking spots belong to the building. You're leasing them like you lease this floor. I'm the one who says who can park there. He isn't an employee, so he isn't parking. Bob: then I am making him an employee. Sam: you can't do that. Bob: you know what? You are right. Harry, get over here. Harry walks over with an amused look on his face. Bob: Harry here is the head of our HR department. Harry, hire this boy. Harry pulls out a piece of paper and scribbles. OP is now a member of Bob, Dick, and Harry's, and signs it, then asks me to sign it as well. I do so. Bob reaches over to the receptionist, who is already grabbing some things. Bob: here is your employee badge, your parking permit, and your elevator key card. Now please, do the job I have hired you to do and deliver my bagels. Sam looks on in utter fury as I ride the elevator down to my car. 7 sweet elevator rides later, all the food is delivered. Bob and Harry meet me at the table. Bob: OP, you have made great strides in this company and I am proud of your work, but I feel it is time for us to part ways. Here is your final check. Bob then hands me a crisp $50 bill. Harry: and your severance package. Now please be sure to return your badge and card on the way out. Harry hands me a $20 bill and sends me on my way. The receptionist is sure to validate the parking ticket that Sam gave me, and I head on out. On the way out, Sam grins at me and asks for my ticket. I place it in the machine in his station. It sees the validation I got and lets me out for free. Sam glares at me as I drive off into the late morning sun. Come on, really? A security guard's really gonna take parking spots that seriously? I mean, this was a good story, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it very much, but why is this security guard care so much? Like, he parked in a guest parking spot, what's the big deal? I don't know, maybe I'm missing something. My head's a little groggy today with my sinuses flaring up. These freaking allergies, oh, I hate it so much. Alright, my dudes, I got one more from IDontWorkHereLady, and this one is called Nice Try, Karen, but You're Not My Mother. Posted by user Master Witcheress. Witcheress? I don't fucking know. My original post of this got taken down for some reason by the mods, so I'm reposting it. Because 1, it's a good story to share. 2, there's nothing wrong with it, and it's posted according to the rules. 3, I would like the mods to explain, so if they do take it down again, to know what I did wrong so I can avoid doing the same mistake in the future. So in my first post on this Reddit, your name's not Karen? Not my problem. I gave some excess background, but that's because I have a lot more stories and not even limited to this Reddit. I decided to share another one. Where this story takes place is actually the only motel. Room access from exterior of building. My parents have managed thus far. It's pretty old and a lot of things have to be manually done or switched on or off. So it was a Friday, an early evening. I was heading down to the opposite side of the hotel to turn on the exterior lights, the electronic sign, parking lot lights, etc. This motel didn't have all the doors with electronic locks, so the door I had to get through was actual lock and key. So I'm walking down past all the rooms when a door behind me opens. I keep walking, barely throwing a glance over my shoulder. I eventually make it towards the end and am just about to pull out the key when I hear rapid footsteps. I turn around, stopping another wild Karen in her tracks. Alright, she didn't really look like a Karen, but I had been in the lobby when she checked in and yeah, no doubt about it. For a second, she actually hesitates to talk, almost fooling me into thinking, oh, great spaghetti monster, was I wrong about her? Ha, nope. Karen begins to berate me for not being behind the desk and getting her food. What the hell? It's a motel. Where does she think she is? La expensive hotel? I tell her in a mocking way, since I honestly gave zero fucks about what she thought. Oh, sure, let me just snap my fingers and conjure food from the non-existent kitchen, Your Highness. She did not like that. I was sure she would start yelling at me for mocking her, but nope. You're a witch? Once more, I ask, what the hell? This just took a turn that made me long for a big stick to smack her upside her head with, because something was obviously just rolling around up there. Maybe if I smacked her hard enough, I could make her qualify to be shipped up to the loony bin or the funny farm. I start laughing in her face, mostly from my own thoughts. Her face starts to turn this shade of red that makes me laugh even harder, because it makes her look like the tomato from VeggieTales in a blonde wig. Why are you laughing? I'm the manager's wife and I can fire you. Still laughing, I'm bent over trying to breathe properly with tears streaming down my face from laughing so hard. That makes me start snorting from breathing in and out at the same time. I know that's total BS. I wrote in my first post about my parents, right? My parents are the collective manager here. She has no idea. I eventually take a deep breath, clench my nails into my palms, and look this Karen straight in the eyes. You'd fire your own daughter's mom? I later told my mother about this, and she kind of found it insulting I'd say that. My mom is so much better looking, according to my father. Ugh. Gagging noises. Karen looked so dumbfounded by what I'd said that I'd have to actually turn my head towards the side completely so she's out of my line of vision, so I don't start my laughing fit again. She huffs angrily and walks away. I turn on the lights and think that's the end of it. Nope. The morning shift typically has to clean up breakfast, and since I was helping my dad, who at the time was suffering from something unknown in his legs that made it painful to walk, I was the one that was cleaning up breakfast. It's from 6 to 9, and it was about 15 minutes from 10. I was just wiping down the counter now. Nothing was left from breakfast on the counter, except for coffee for guests. I go into the back office and start washing dishes, which means my dad has to keep his ear out for the door chime to go off, signaling that someone has come in. I'm in the middle of washing dishes when I hear yelling coming from the front. I'm greatly concerned for my dad and rush towards the office, grabbing my phone from the desk in case I had to call 911. I didn't. Lo and behold, Karen had arrived. She was yelling at my dad about how there was no breakfast set out, how he was a shitty employee, and how she knew the manager. Yeah, well, she did. She was talking to him after all. My dad kept trying to explain breakfast hours were over and they were under no obligation to keep it open for her, even pointing to the sign right behind his head that stated the hours too. Karen was not having it. She saw me as soon as I walked in. And your employee cursed me out last night when I was simply asking for directions. No, she didn't say cursed at me. I have to do the whole nails in palm trick to not start laughing at the memory, because I would no doubt get in trouble for that. My dad turns to me and gives me this questioning look. I shake my head and shrug. Ma'am, she's not an... I want her fired right now! Well, as we say in the industry, the customer is unfortunately always right. No, they're not. No, they're not. Stop fucking saying this. Stop perpetuating this. My dad turns to me, his face away from Karen, and gives me a grin before saying, "You heard the lady. You're fired." I give him a returning grin. "Okay, Dad, I'll go finish the dishes." Karen starts sputtering nonsense, but my dad turns to her and says, "Is there anything else I can help you with?" Karen demands to see the manager. Now in the back office, a few steps away from the open door that separates the office from the front desk, I watch my dad stroll into the office, in quite a bit of pain, which made me sad. Close the door, wait a minute, before he walks back out and says, "I'm the manager here, and I'm asking you to leave the property." Karen screams, "Well then, I'm not paying!" Okay, guess what? You already paid at check-in with cash that requires a $50 deposit, so therefore, you're not getting it back. My dad shrugs, and I walk out from behind a desk a moment later to refill the coffee pot, where Karen has moved to get some. That's right, she didn't leave. Karen starts yelling at me now. It's endless screaming and yelling, I swear. "What the hell are you doing? You're fired!" I smirk and tell her two things. One, I'm the manager's daughter and not actually an employee. Two, the coffee here is for paying guests, and since you clearly stated you're not paying, you can't have any. The coffee was out anyway, so she couldn't get any even if she tried. Karen, now understanding why I had called her mom the previous night, storms off. I don't see her again for the rest of the weekend. Which, 2, Wild Karen, 0. Edit number 1. I wasn't paid as an employee, so no, I didn't technically work there. I only really helped out. And there isn't a kitchen, but in the back there was a sink we used to wash the waffle batter drip pan out, etc. So no, there was no kitchen. No coffee for you, Karen. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Deny that bitch her coffee. She's probably going to rage on somebody else now, though, so maybe that's not the greatest thing to do. Oh, no, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think she's going to go on a, like, decaffeinated Karen rage, I don't know, on some unsuspecting supermarket? Oh, no, wait, she can't, because they're all closed. Shit, who's she going to torment now? Who's the... Guys, just, brain... explode moment. Like, all Karens right now are at home tormenting their own family for once. Oh my god, those poor kids. Oh, I get when I'm sure when school goes back in, these kids are gonna be like so happy to be back. They're like, school! When before it was like, I don't want to go to school. Now they're gonna be like, get me away from my Karen of a mother, please. All right, my dudes, I've got 2 stories from IDoWorkHereLady, and this one is called No, I Am Not Imaginary, posted by user Lorte Canto, I think. I'm not sure if this fits here, but I think that this is the best subreddit for my small story. My father and mother got divorced just after I was born. Both went on to have many children, so I have many siblings, but there is a 7-year age gap between me and my oldest sibling. Because they lived in 2 different cities, more than a few hours apart, I only got to visit my father on the weekends. Luckily, there was a direct bus line between the cities, which I learned to take at an early age. So when I'm around 12 years old, I got off from school a bit early on Friday. Instead of waiting for the normal time to take the bus, I called first my mom and then my dad, and we agreed that I would take the first bus. This meant that instead of arriving late in the evening, I would be in Father's City just after midday. So my father suggested that I could go to the kindergarten and pick up my 2 siblings there, since they would be happy to see me early. Both siblings are girls, so let us call the older one for old sister and the younger one for young sister. I agreed, and just after arriving in Father's City, I went to the kindergarten to pick them up. The first person I see when I enter the kindergarten is my old sister. She screams, "OP, I love you!" and runs over to give me a big hug. I tell her that I'm here to pick her up and young sister, so old sister run over to get young sister while I start packing their stuff up. Then one of the pedagogues that works at the kindergarten comes out and asks me, "Are you OP and the older sibling to old sister and young sister?" I say, "Yes, that's me." She quickly turns around and goes away. But a few moments later, another pedagogue arrives and we have a quick conversation that goes something like, "So, you are OP, older sibling to old sister and young sister." Yes, that is me. "It is so crazy that you are real." What? "That you are not imaginary." Our conversation is cut short by the arrival of my two siblings and all the pedagogues at the kindergarten. They look at me, compare me to my younger siblings, and talk about how amazing it is that I am not imaginary. It turns out that old sister and young sister talked about me quite often, and since the pedagogues had never seen me and my father and bonus mother had never told them about me, they kind of just assumed that I was just like an imaginary friend, an older sibling imagined by my sisters. So they were rather surprised when I showed up in flesh. So it's kind of, I guess, I do work here lady, as in, yes, they are my siblings. That's a cute little story. It's not infuriating, but it's like you kind of walk in and everybody's staring at you. I wouldn't want to walk into a situation like that. I don't like when people stare at me. It kind of triggers me a little bit, and I'm like, what the fuck are you looking at? Like, just stop it. You know? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm a fucking weirdo. I'm okay with this. You guys are okay with it. Come on. I know you are. Anyway. All right, my dudes, I'm going to get into the last story of the day. I know it's so sad, right? This one is called "I Am Not a Nutter," posted by user DudeGS. Hi, this is my mom's story. I will say the story in first person. Let's get into the story. So I work in a place where kids are trying to kill you or commit suicide. So last night, actual time, I was minding my own business when I heard a scream. Was the lady being stabbed? No, it was a spider. Arachnophobia. So I got the spider, as you should do.
"I will kill it,"
said the lady hysterically. It was a big spider, though. I went out and talking with the spider. Then a dark figure came up behind me to say, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm talking to my spider." Did not help my case. Fuck my night. It was 15-0. So I was saying about I was working and my work ID is in the offer room, but he radioed if there was a missing patient and then grabbed me. Me and him went to the main building and the receptionist laughed hard as I was screaming to get off my arm, etc. Anyway, the receptionist gave the dark-figured man, security guard, my ID and he stormed off. How rude! Much to everyone's amusement behind reception. Like, how do you work at a place? Like, I wonder if he, like, just started there, or she, it's a dude, I don't know. I call everybody dude, so that doesn't really mean anything to me. But, like, how do you work at a place and not recognize the staff that worked there? Like, if you're security, you should know the faces of everybody that works there. You should make it your job, you big fucking dumb oaf. Like, what the fuck? I think you need to hire a new security guard in that situation. That's, clearly he's the nutter if he was so upset that he couldn't bust somebody for being, you know, outside of their cell or whatever. You know what I mean? Fuck, I can't even talk right now. Guys, my head is like... My head is killing me. I'm going to sleep. I'm going to edit this video, post it, and go have a little nappy poo. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please smash that motherfucking like button. You know it likes it. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on all notifications for future videos just like this one. Guys, I believe I'm 30 subscribers away from 1,000. That subscriber appreciation episode is coming quick, my dudes. Get those stories in if you want them to appear in that episode. I'm going to estimate that by Wednesday, I think I will hit 1,000 subscribers. We'll see what happens. But, yeah, hopefully that happens. Don't forget to submit your stories. Links to these stories are in the description below, so you can head on over to Reddit. Show those posters some love with some upvotes. You know they deserve it. And I will see you guys in tomorrow's episode. Peace out, my dudes.